everybody, John here, the Midnight Paint and Body channel. In this video, the Chevy 2 is back. So, longtime viewers of the channel might remember this car. I did a couple videos on it quite a ways back. I guess what I did on it when it was here was floor pans, quarter panels, I think trunk floor. Yeah, trunk floor. Did mini tubs. Converted it to Acadian taillights just because they're cooler. And complete TCI 4-link rear suspension in. So as you can see, it's got all nice high-end stuff underneath. All the sheet metal is new. Now, since you guys saw it last, so the customer's taking it home, he did bring me back a batch of parts, so I painted this whole front subframe and a bunch of other pieces for him. And then he was able to get it back together to a rolling state. So he has done all of the front suspension. A lot of stuff is in place now. He has had a super nice cage built. I mean, like, really nice. See how nice and tight that fits to the body. It's got swing out bars. All tied in beautifully. Really, really nice cage. Yeah, I guess that's about that. So the car is back. Ooh, ouch, finger. Because, don't do that again. I just closed the door with my hand there and pinched it in the cage. I'll edit that out. Anyway, the car is back for the Firewall. Now, obviously it's had a bunch of welding done to the Firewall area since it's been here, and the other thing is the trans tunnel. They've had to change that a bit. So I did paint the entire underside of the car. I don't know how much you can see under there, but it was all fresh, so just got to touch up a little bit where there was some other welding done. And we're going to paint the whole Firewall, so then that way he can take this thing and put his engine and everything in. He's going to get it back into a running car, I think is the plan. So this isn't going to be a real big video. I just thought I would bring you guys back on it because you might have been wondering what happened to this car if you watched the original videos on it. So I am going to have to unbolt the subframe. I mean, ultimately it would be nice if I could just sandblast that Firewall. It would be a lot faster, but I can't do it with the subframe on. And once I unbolt the subframe, I can't really move it. So I think I'm just going to prep as much as I can. I'm going to actually just roll this thing into the paint booth. And once it's in the paint booth, I'll lift it up, put it in front on some stands, take this front subframe off, so we can just roll it ahead and cover it up, and then finish up the Firewall. So yeah, a little bit here and there on this one, a couple of little spots he wants filled. So yeah, not a whole lot, guys. I just thought I'd bring you back really just so you could see this car and this, the stage it's at now. And by the way, this is a street car. This is not being built as a race car, believe it or not. The owner already has a Chevy 2 quarter-mile car. This is going to be a street car. It's a 427 small block that he's got for it, I guess. So anyway, I'm going to get set up and I guess just get started on filling a couple spots in Firewall and some sanding up there, and we'll see where we get to. Oh, something like this is obviously pretty simple. There, it's fixed. Ta-da! Just kidding. So just a quick little template. And I'll just put that on a piece of sheet metal and just cut it out with a pair of snippers and fill that in. Those are easy enough to fill just with the wire feed, and then a little one up on top of the firewall. Well, a little bit of a change of plans on this one, I think. So I have welded up our couple little spots that need welding. I've started cleaning up the firewall, but there's some rust pitting and stuff, and man, this would just make a much nicer job if I could just sandblast that firewall. Now, when I worked on this car before, I sandblasted the entire underside, and I know this has all been sandblasted up to there, and that's been all kind of primed and painted. And I'm going to see if I can kind of block up the body on this thing, unbolt the subframe. It's just 4 bolts on each side. And then maybe support the front of this car with my engine crane. And then maybe I can get it kind of mobile enough to back it out the door and just sandblast this little bit just right there. I don't like sandblasting out at that end of the shop because it makes a mess, but whatever, it is what it is. So that's what I'm thinking. Is it a good idea? I don't know. But I'll leave the camera rolling, so if the car falls on me, there'll be documentation. So let's see what I can do with this thing. It's free! Didn't realize it was so front heavy like that. Okay, well, it is supported. It's fine. The trick is going to be rolling this thing out the door far enough that I can sandblast the front end. Even if I just get it out and the crane is still in the shop, I might be able to close the doors enough that I can just blast the front end of this thing. So one of the other things I need to do on this car is make a little filler panel for around this steering column area. So I'm just going to whip up a cardboard template real quick, and then we'll make a piece of sheet metal that fits in there and try and come up with something that looks decent. There we are. I've just made up this little plate here, guys. Nothing fancy. So I'm just going to hold that tight to the floor. I put some holes in it for plug welds, and that is where it'll live. Alright, so there's our little plate welded in. So that's obviously nothing fancy, just a quick piece. Fill in that kind of rough edge that was around it. So that'll get yeah, a little bit of primer, and I'll just seam seal the edges around it, and it'll be, yeah, good to go. So let's go move on to the next thing. Well, my day has completely gotten away from me because of other obligations. But I'm back. A couple hours left of Friday. I have got a really sketchy setup going here. I just want to try and push this thing outside without it taking off on me when it rolls down that little slope. And we all know nothing bad happens when the camera is running. So let's set this thing up, and I'm going to see if I can carefully put this thing outside. It's the worst that could happen. All right. Well, I forgot to turn the camera on for my re-entry, but it actually went pretty smooth. Pulling it in with the old lawn tractor. So, as you can see, that cleans things up much faster and nicer than messing around with sanding and trying to strip it all by hand with all those curves and contours and a little bit of rust that was in it. So, I'll just feather out the bottom. Like I said, that bottom was sandblasted up to there and then primed and painted. And then I did notice when I got underneath this thing, where's my flashlight? No wonder I can never find anything in this mess. There's one. So I showed you guys the tunnel inside, so that needs to be cleaned up. And the other thing is that it's got a whole bunch of burns from the roll cage getting put in as well. All the way at the back there too, so I'm gonna have to repaint most of this floor underneath. And painting it the first time sucked. I don't want to hit my head on that thing again. Just as I turned the camera off, I ducked underneath the engine hoist to unplug the sandblaster, cranked my head off of that thing. So it's a good thing the camera was off. I would have had to beep out some words. Well, anyway, I think that's about as far as I'm getting today, guys. So see you all back next week. And I've got a couple of days next week where I can work on this. So hopefully I'll just get it done and back to the customer. All right, shut out the lights. It's time for a beer. Well, it's Monday again here, guys. I've been under the car for a couple hours already. And I gotta tell you that on the pain in the ass scale of 1 to 10, this is a 27. So, as you can see, there's been feathering away stuff up towards the front, the sides, and then, man, this floor is just burnt everywhere from the cage. I mean, the nice way to do this would be to take these frame connectors and everything completely back out, but I don't think I'm going to do that. So I'll just feather all these spots back in the floor the best that I can. And I'll actually have to mask these frame connectors. I mean, I just thought this was some spot ends, but this is basically the entire damn floor. But anyway, no point complaining about it. Okay, now I can get this thing up in the air properly. Quick run to the parts store. Bought some more axle stands. I remembered I had 2 under my El Camino outside, so I forgot those were under there. It didn't have to be in the air right now, so grab those ones. So yeah, some primer, hardener, and reducer, and 4 axle stands. I'm going to return those 2 because I forgot I had those 2, but still. $700. I tell you guys, I'm gonna make a video one of these days on shop rates and what a little guy like me squeezes into my $75 an hour. Let me know if that would interest anybody. And I have quite a bit of experience with estimating and collision repair shops and insurance repair shop rates. Read the manual. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get this thing up in the air and we'll continue on sanding that underside because, yeah, like I said before, I was kind of thinking this was painting a firewall and a couple spot ends, but I gotta paint that whole friggin' floor underneath again, so. Anyway, I'll bring you guys back when I get back. Well, I've got the little Chevy 2 masked up as good as I can get it, guys. It's not the absolute best scenario, obviously, but yeah, I spent all day yesterday underneath this thing feathering out all the burnt paint. So, I mean, at the end of the day, this was never meant to be a full-on show car, but it's to be, you know, it's going to be very nice. But I have done the best I can under here, you know, short of completely disassembling all that suspension again. So, we've got some primer on all these bare metal areas. I will have to get a little seam sealer on some spots on the firewall once I have primer on. And then we can get some paint in there. And then our front assembly there, just he wanted some paint on those pads because some of it showed through once it was bolted to the mounts. But that's easy enough, that's not a big deal. So I'm gonna get under there and wash a bunch of this floor with wax and grease remover, and should be spraying here shortly. Alright, there is 3 coats of paint on everything. So, that sucked really bad, but I got her done. So, it's actually Tuesday today. I'm going out of town tomorrow for my daughter's university graduation. And I won't be back till next week, so this can now sit for, 5 days or so. And then when I get back, we'll get that front end back on it, get it rolling again, and we'll have a good look underneath and see how everything turned out. See you guys in a few days. Well, happy Monday morning, everyone. Thought we'd have a quick look at the car. As usual, I don't remember where I left off on this. I have been away since Wednesday. Yeah, I haven't been in the shop for 5 days. We're off attending my daughter's university graduation. So, nice little break from the shop. So I thought we would, before assembling this, I'll kind of show you guys where we're at. Now, obviously, Firewall is all painted. Now, I did get in here and just brush painted a fresh coat of paint over the floor where I put that patch in around the steering column and where the tunnel had been changed up. So yeah, just a quick coat of paint in there. And then let's see if, before I let this thing down, see how our floor looks. So yeah, all in all, I think that turned out really good. You know, it's not the easiest thing to paint, obviously. Laying on your back, spraying up, and then, yeah, I mean, if I had a hoist, it would be a whole lot nicer, but I do not. So yeah, let's, I guess I can get up. I'll try and get this car dropped back down to a workable level. Oh, my light is in there. Oh, look at that, I could have turned my light on. Yeah, we'll get this dropped back down and get that front suspension bolted back up. Okay, she tipped a little. Oh, for crying out loud. Well, so as bad as that probably looked, I will show you guys. Unfortunately, I did put a scratch on the back of the rear end. So, shouldn't be a big deal. I'll need to do a little extra paint in there. If you remember way back, I did paint all of that stuff initially. So once I get the front end on, I'll just have to lift this up and sand out that scratch on the differential and take care of that and check for any other marks. But that was all I could see climbing under there, so. The risk you take sometimes. I've never had that happen before, and I've had a lot of cars lifted up in the air. Well, I guess it just wasn't stable hanging off the engine crane. It was doing kind of doing one of them. So anyway. Whoa, jeez, that was way faster than I expected. Happy Monday. Okay, well, I'll get this front secured, and then I can move on to getting that front suspension back on. Well, this might be a good thing I scratched the differential. So just got a little putty over the scratches there, so that's not a big deal. But somehow I missed these ones. I don't know why I didn't think to check back there. It's burnt in the back here too, where the cage was welded in, so I need to take care of both sides of the floor there. So no better time than to do it now while I'm painting this stuff anyway, so I get this all prepped up. Blow a little paint on those spots as well. Well, there we are, back out of the booth. So I got our back end all tidied up. The scratch that I put in the differential housing and those other burn areas that I had missed. So she's back rolling, the subframe is bolted back up. Firewall all painted. So, not a big deal. Like everything in this trade, it turned into way more work than I was expecting when it came in, but that is okay. I just figured I should do a little video on it for you guys, since, you know, I did a couple of videos on this car as I did all the sheet metal work on it. I don't know, a year ago, maybe more? I don't know how long it's been. But I will definitely keep you updated as this project progresses as much as I can. I believe the customer's plan is to, at this point, get all his running gear in it, get it running. I think he just wants to actually get it running, driving, and drive the thing for the summer, burn some tires off. But eventually it will be back for the rest of the body work, which there is still a pretty substantial amount to be done. But you know, it's solid. All of the rust repair is done. I think one rocker might have some rust holes in it, but that's not a big deal. So, as always, guys, thank you for watching. I know it wasn't much, but it's a little check-in at least. And I hope to see you back for the next one.